Hello, and welcome to another episode of the One4U Show. I'm your host, as always, Adnan, joined, of course, by Graham Husted behind the camera, who will be joining me a little later for a discussion on the big superhero movies that came out in 2014. But before we get to that, I came out here to Phat Collectibles here in Habra, California, joined by the incredible Hulk, who has graciously decided not to rip my limbs off, in order for us to show you a little bit of this place, show you the vast and cool world of comic book collectibles and just cool collectible stuff all together. So join us on this little adventure, and we hope you enjoy it. Thanks. Hey guys, Adnan here with Eddie, manager here at Phat Collectibles in La Habra.
What's up?
He's been gracious enough to let us shoot here and show us some of the wondrous things that you've seen in the show so far. So Eddie, I just wanted to ask you, so what got you into like all the cool like superheroes and comics and just all the cool stuff that's here?
Since I was 4 years old, I've always been into Batman, so I guess it all just started there. Adam West, 1966 Batman show. I was so infatuated with that, my mom started buying me Batman comics, and the rest is history. It just spiraled off into craziness. So
That's great. That's great. So it's been cool, like seeing all the cool stuff here. Like, what's your favorite thing that's here then?
Oh God, I think the favorite thing here would probably be the Hulk statue. I mean, he's a beast.
That thing is a beast. That thing is. Has that thing ever come back to life like Five Nights at Freddy's and tried to kill
If it
everyone?
did, I put it in my 2 weeks. So let's hope not.
All right, cool. So just keep in mind the statues here do not come back to life.
Not yet, at least.
Yes. In this particular episode, we were focusing a little bit on the big superhero movies that came out this year. Like of the big four that came out this year, where would you rank them? Just in your personal opinion.
My personal opinion, it would go Captain America, Winter Soldier,
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men Days of Future Past, then Amazing Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I also have Spider-Man at the bottom of my list.
And it's not by choice. Like, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. He's actually my favorite Marvel superhero. But the thing is, I mean, compared to the other three, they were just fantastic. And it's not to say Amazing Spider-Man 2 sucked. I mean, it had its issues, but I enjoyed the movie overall.
Okay.
But compared to the other three, dude, yeah.
Any particular reason why you have Captain America over where most would probably say Guardians?
I think Captain America was a game changer, dude. As like, it wasn't even like watching a superhero movie. It's like watching a cool spy espionage thriller that a superhero happened to be in. Like, it was just non-stop action, well-written story. Cap takes the cake. I actually think it's Marvel's best movie to date.
That's great. That's great. So, what you ever see any like interesting people come in here sometimes, and like any interesting objects come in? Do you guys take in objects? Or
Yes, we do.
something?
We do buy collectibles from people, statues, toys, video games, stuff like that. There's a few celebrities that have rolled in here before. I know Rob Liefeld's been in here a few times because of Deadpool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, he's been in here I think 2 or 3 times actually. Merritt Michaels was actually in here just the other day.
Oh, wow.
Buying an Overstreet Price guide. So yeah, from time to time we get a few comics, celebrity artists and writers in here.
So sometimes do you ever get them for signings and stuff over here?
Yes. For our grand opening, we actually had Charles Soule here doing the signing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Superman, Wonder Woman, and stuff like that. And it was real cool.
That's great. That's great. So that's about it. We're gonna go on to the conversation that Graham and I are about to have about the 2014 summer movies. Eddie, thank you very much for having us here.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Do you want to plug anything for Phat Collectibles site, Twitter, Facebook, anything like that?
Hey, check us out on Facebook, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Visit any one of our 5 locations: Anaheim, La Habra, Huntington Beach, Westminster, or LA.
Cool. Thank you very much, Eddie.
No problem. Thank you too, man.
Hello, I'm Mick Foley, and you are watching the One4U Show.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And thank you very much. I know it's late for the WrestleCast, but thanks to Mick Foley for throwing it over us for this episode of the One4U Show. Once again, still here, Adnan Qureshi, here with my lovely co-host, Graham Husted. And Graham and I are here to talk to you now that the summer season is winding down, even though you couldn't tell by the fact that I'm sweating like a mad dog over here.
Right.
Yeah, but all the summer superhero movies have come and went, and Graham and I just wanted to give our 2 cents, weigh in a little bit, and to give a hierarchy on where we would place the big 4 summer superhero movies that came out this year. So we had The Amazing Spider-Man 2, we had X-Men Days of Future Past, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
So where on your hierarchy, Graham, would you rate 1, 2, 3, 4 for those?
I guess I would probably say X-Men Days of Future Past was probably number one, just because that's a story arc it's been around for so long that like I remember watching the cartoon in the 90s and how they went over it, and I was really excited when they were announcing that they were going to be doing that. Mm-hmm. So I followed pretty much the production of these movies, like from their inception and the creative process for it. So I was really excited for that. Then I would say Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America, and then Amazing Spider-Man. That's with qualifiers.
It's kind of funny because you and me have the same order right now. Because
Well-
I liked, even though I haven't seen all the X-Men movies, Days of Future Past was just enthralling to me.
Yeah.
Like everything that happened, I was invested in fully to end. And the thing is, Guardians and Captain America too were both awesome too.
Yeah.
So it was really hard for me to place the top three.
Yeah, I by no means is that something that I would have to like absolutely stick with too, because my explanations. Guardians of the Galaxy is it's a smart move on Marvel's part.
It was also a risky move because the characters are not known.
Yes, however, the really good thing about it is that it's giving a perspective of the Marvel Universe that's not just Avengers, mm-hmm. Which, not that people don't want to see Avengers movies. Obviously, there's another 2 more coming out. Mm-hmm. So, but it's nice that it kind of breaks it up and it shows you like the threat of, spoiler alert, Thanos coming and it kind of hints at that and everything that's going to be going on that's going to be eventually affecting us Earthlings later on down the road. Then for Captain America: Winter Soldier, like you were talking about with Eddie at the comic shop, he nailed it right on the head. It was a spy thriller, mm-hmm. like the espionage and all of that with a superhero in it. So it had the story. You could tell they had the story first, and it could have just survived off of the story alone. Mm-hmm. But you have the element of, you know, you know what I'm saying.
The thing with Captain America 2 to me also is that I didn't like the first one that much. I wasn't a big fan.
That's probably like I would say the majority of people didn't like the first one as much.
Yeah, for me, the first Captain America movie was the weakest of the 4 of the Avengers setup movies.
Yeah.
I wasn't huge on the first Captain America.
Which is
movie.
funny because it's Captain America: The First Avenger.
The First Avenger, it was called that. But like Winter Soldier, I remember seeing it and it was just done so well, and I was completely more invested. Maybe because now I've seen him for a couple movies now and seen how it plays out, but just the fact that you got to see him work together with like the Falcon, and the stuff that happens with S.H.I.E.L.D. and that.
Sure.
And it was just a lot of really cool things that happened with Days of Future Past. I had number 1 just because of how enthralled I was. Guardians I have at number 2 because it was just such a risky move. And it worked out for them, because I remember seeing the first trailers for Guardians of the Galaxy being really skeptical. Mm-hmm. Like, I know a lot of people freaked out, but it's just one of those things, like, tonally it was strange. Mm-hmm. And the movie itself is tonally kind of strange because it's a lot more lighthearted, but it was very good in that aspect. But I thought the hardest thing that they were going to do is convince audiences to go see a CG raccoon with guns. That's going to be the hardest. No, exactly. Like just the general public who aren't like comic book people. Are they going to go see a raccoon that's talking, that's got guns, that's with a tree? And obviously they did, because it made a ton of money for them.
And it's still doing well.
No, exactly. And I'm really glad that it did. I'm really glad it was as good as it was. And and obviously now they have another big franchise they can play a part of. But now like Marvel's got Ant-Man coming up, and just that's another thing I was worried about too, because who's going to want to see a movie that's called Ant-Man?
I personally am super stoked for Ant-Man.
But
I heard that they were going to be doing an Ant-Man movie, I I was pretty excited. I mean, I know obviously I'm not like I can't speak for the general public because most people may not know who Ant-Man is, but with Ant-Man you get a lot of interesting things that affect the Marvel universe, like the Ant-Man molecules.
But that's exactly what I'm talking about, though. Not necessarily people who know Ant-Man, but just the general public. Are they going to want to... They took a chance on a talking raccoon. Are they going to take a chance on a dude named Ant-Man?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So we've got those going on. But it seems so far that the Marvel Cinematic Universe they've just put out everything that they could, and so far everything's been a hit. Mm-hmm. Even though it's been a very bad box office year, 2014, for Hollywood, Marvel's still putting out a lot of high quality stuff that everyone is seeing.
Right. I'm turning on the fan. This is...
We'll be right back after Graham turns on the fan. And we're back from fan intermission. It's really hot, so if you hear the sound of a fan, sorry, that's going to be a minor inconvenience for the episode, but it's too damn hot here right now.
We tried without, and it did not work.
No, it did not. But otherwise, it was a good place for us to come back to talk about the fourth movie we haven't really touched on in our list, which is The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I also, just like Captain America, wasn't too big on Amazing Spider-Man 1, but I was hoping Amazing Spider-Man 2 would be better, and it is, but only marginally better to me.
Yeah.
I felt like Amazing Spider-Man 2 was just too long and put emphasis on stuff I didn't care about.
Yeah, although I would say that one thing that's almost refreshing, I don't know, that may not be the right word to use, but the one thing that's different about the Amazing Spider-Man movies that is nice is that they are a little more cartoony when it comes to the villains. And the thing that is nice about that is, like with the Nolan trilogy, everything was based in reality, and that works to a point. Because then someone wants to see Batman go up against Clayface or something, but that's not going to happen in a universe like that.
Right.
Which
is why Bane didn't have any venom or anything of the sort.
Exactly. So it's nice to see Spider-Man go up against these crazily overpowered or whatever villains.
I agree with that because, what's his name, Andrew Garfield? He's got a smart mouth for it.
Yeah.
His mouth, like the way he talks, like, and
he's actually a really good
No, he really is. The best part of him, of those movies to me, is I can feel the relationship between Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy, and I can feel the relationship even more for me between Peter Parker and Aunt May.
Yeah.
Those two relationship I cared about. What I didn't care about, and I don't know about you, was shoehorning in Peter Parker's parents into Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Well, that's the thing, is that was a planned story arc that they were going to invest time. They said they were going to invest time in it, so I didn't necessarily have an issue with it. It's an quote unquote untold story,
but it felt shoehorned.
But it is a bit, and I heard that there would be touching even more on it somehow.
Oh my god! Sorry, there's a cute cat here.
In the next movies to come from that universe, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Especially
with Amazing Spider-Man 3
and the spin-offs of Sinister Six and different villains. I don't know why they would choose villains to do spin-off movies. Well, it doesn't.
So far though, like, they're okay. I still prefer the old Sam Raimi movies, and there are elements where if you combine both of them, both like versions of Spider-Man, you would have the perfect Spider-Man movie for sure. But Amazing Spider-Man 2, it still was the okay Spider-Man movie. Yeah. Like, they're not bad. Like, they're worth giving it a watch if you're a Spider-Man fan, because there are things to enjoy, but they're not that great in my opinion, really. But obviously other people disagree with me. And outside of this list, my favorite movie of the summer was Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, and nobody saw that. But otherwise, though, was there really anything else to really touch on with the big superhero movies for this year?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how certain roles get cast. I know that we were just discussing The Rock,
for Black
Dwayne
Adam.
Johnson getting cast as Black Adam, and there's rumors of or there were rumors of Joaquin Phoenix being attached or in final negotiations to be Doctor Strange, although the last I read of that was he wasn't sure if he wanted to commit himself to that kind of... It's a different movie making process. There's a lot more green screen and all that kind of stuff involved that he isn't really... And when you're signing on to a comic book movie, you're signing on for...
for multiple movies
because
both Marvel and DC have like 10-year plans that are ridiculously huge.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how certain roles get cast, especially roles of characters who have been so largely anticipated. Doctor Strange, Black Panther, list goes on and on.
So let's touch a little bit more on like the big roadmap that we have going on. Both Marvel and both DC have plenty of plans coming up for upcoming movies. Mm-hmm. We've got setups now going for the Justice League, which is obviously being done to counter the Avengers. It'll obviously probably be more closer to Avengers 3 than Avengers 2. Mm-hmm. Avengers 2 will be before Batman v Superman, which is supposed to be at the same time as Captain America 3. So we have so much coming down the pike as far as like superhero movies. It's kind of ridiculous and daunting. Like before, we just had like the Spider-Man movies, and then a Batman movie like every while.
Not to mention that Star Wars is going to get thrown in the mix too, and then
if you're a nerd, the next 10 years is going to be like jizz everywhere. That's all it is. Yeah. It really is.
Elegantly put, yes.
Yeah. Great. Now it's just gonna be like a giant sensor bar that's in there, right? But otherwise, like, Star Wars is J.J. Abrams. It's all Disney too. Disney is gonna make so much money off the Avengers and the new Star Wars. Yep. And then they're gonna bring out the original trilogy unedited, right, to make the money off of that.
Yes, and that's going to make so many fans happy.
It's being done to promote Episode 7, really, too.
There were a lot of people who were skeptical about Disney acquiring the rights to Star Wars, and there another one of our friends that I was talking to, Aaron, he was for it because of the budget
stuff.
I mean, obviously that
they acquired Marvel and Star Wars for $4 billion each, correct? I think it was.
I believe so.
Yeah, and when I heard about that, people were thinking that's an astonishing amount of money, which it really is. But at the same time, I thought Disney is easily going to make their money back from both of those properties, and it's already showing.
They're going to be coming out with movies for each of those properties. Mm-hmm. They're going to be coming out with like a movie to 2 movies per year.
Mm-hmm. And the Marvel plan was already to have 3 a year, which they've already done, really.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a very strange and cool ride to see all these like characters. I just hope it doesn't get to the point of oversaturation, which it totally can. But at the same time, I think the people who are meant to consume it are really going to take as much of it as they can.
Yeah, I don't think, and the way that they set up storylines throughout those movies, you can just see a movie on its own, or you could watch it as part of the larger picture, which is ideal for doing something like comic book movies, because that's.
Although it's still got to be strange going into a Disney store and seeing like Cinderella next to Black Widow next to Princess Leia.
Yep.
So like just branching out with Disney properties, involving these properties like Disney Infinity, that game that with the figures that's like Skylanders. Mm-hmm. That's become even bigger because now they're adding Marvel characters to Disney Infinity. So Marvel characters are already interacting with Disney characters, which means soon they can add Star Wars characters. Which then also brings up a point, just on another side note, of Kingdom Hearts 3, when that comes out.
Oh, man.
So we potentially could have a property that has lightsabers, Final Fantasy characters, Disney characters, and superheroes. Can you believe that?
I was just saying lightsabers versus keyblades.
Oh, but imagine if you had Cloud's sword with the Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, his giant Buster Sword is just a lightsaber.
Yeah.
and it would be just a trip. But otherwise, like, we got that, and now, when you think about that, the DC stuff kind of seems smaller in comparison, but the DC stuff should be pretty good because DC's got Batman v Superman, plus they got the Justice League coming up, plus they're
doing it a little ass backwards.
But they have a lot more TV stuff which is going on that's really popular because they've got the Gotham show, Flash, and they've got Arrow.
I'm gonna ignore the Gotham show.
Oh, really?
Because Gotham looks like total shit.
Oh, does it?
It looks so awful. Arrow, I would at least, I would invest time in. Mm-hmm. Gotham, just it makes me upset because it's kind of like they're undoing what they already built up from. I don't know.
From the Nolan movies?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to see when they come out, basically. Like, who knows? Because we're still a ways from Flash coming out. We're still a ways from Gotham coming out. They're just in...
The movies I'm more excited about. They look like tonally they're correct. Batman vs. Superman.
I just can't wait to see.
They're setting up Justice League and with the inclusion of like we just spoke about Dwayne Johnson being cast as Black Adam. They didn't specify what movie he was going to be in. However, I believe there is a Shazam movie that will be slated, or that is rumored to be slated. So it'll be nice to. It'll also be interesting to see who they put up against The Rock as Captain Marvel.
If you smell what Black Adam is cooking.
Well, but considering how huge
The Rock is,
and who are they going to put up against that?
It's going to be hard. They're going to have to get Triple H to be the Captain Marvel equivalent. That's. I kind of hope he's just called Shazam. I never liked the name Captain Marvel. I always thought Shazam was just a cooler name.
Well, but Shazam's not his name.
I know.
It's what he said.
I know, but he's listed as Shazam in a lot of stuff. And
yeah,
I just like Shazam better.
Well, they'll probably call him Shazam because they don't want the confusion of Captain Marvel, but his name is Captain Marvel.
So what do you guys think? Do you think it should be Shazam? Do you think it should be Captain Marvel? Are you guys excited for the Justice League, for Avengers Age of Ultron? Excited for Guardians 2? Let us know in the comments. Tell us what you thought of this episode, about the location that we shot at. Tell us what you thought of everything. And just keep supporting us. Rate, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at @the_Adnan. Follow Graham on Twitter at Graham Husted. And anything else you want to say, Graham?
Nope.
All right, cool. Well, then this episode has just been another one for you.
Wait a second.
What?
No.
Oh, okay. One for you!
One for you.
Yo, you could catch me rolling with the best and shooting at the rest. Every day, common man, never change. Old quest, the professor, sit calm for the lecture, cause I'm about to dig deep in your brains like Lecter. With food for thought to the masses in the crowd. Pay attention as you listen while the speakers bang loud. And if it's hard to digest, then I suggest that you turn a deaf ear to these words I manifest. No doubt I got my hustle game strong.